Good evening, ladies and gentlebeans. Buongiorno. We are live for round 10 of Formula 2 here in League of Europe, and we are at Monza this week in Italy. Just 3 rounds to go now. Monza, Spa and Sakhir. 3 cracking circuits to round off the calendar, and we've still got a very feisty looking title fight. We've got Ariel Nathan leads by 9 points with 286 from QVR Campbell. Just 1 podium in the last 4 races across the last 2 rounds for Nathan, and that was a 3rd place finish at Russia in the sprint last week. Campbell's on 277, and we've got Verstappen on 265, Rocco on 253, so 33 points between those guys, all within a pair of race wins of each other. Then we've got Larkin and Ben JS battling it out for P5, just 1 point between those on 183 and 182 respectively. Then we've got Luco 5HD on 143, Miami on 125, he won't be racing tonight. MLE Tope is on 113, and then we come to last week's race winners. B Morgan on 108 points for Prima, and Cortez on 101 points for HWA. Bit like real life this year, in that Prima have 2 washed up drivers in Ariel Jordan and B Morgan, not really hitting the heights of success that team is necessarily used to in Formula 2, but they're trying their best. It's Carlin dominating so far with Nathan, and with Luco 5HD in the top 7 also. They're the best team with the highest ranking team with 2 drivers in the top 8. The next best is HWA with Verstappen in P3 and Cortez in P11. But let's turn our attentions to tonight and a little bit of Monza. And I've heard, a little bird tells me, that the curbs here are absolutely lethal. They're going to slap the underside of your car, a bit like Will Smith slapping Chris Rock. Had to get a reference to pop culture in there somewhere. But we've got a full wet qualifying, so that doesn't deter our drivers from launching it over the curbs. I'm not sure anything will. And the good thing about doing this is F2 is you can guarantee not one of them has done a single lap of wet practice, probably apart from Nathan. So let's go through. Let's go on board with Ibo for qualifying here in Monza. So a straight drag down towards turn 1. Everyone should be using preset 5 quickest in a straight line. It's Larkin and Chill that are winning the top speed stakes down towards turn 1. And then here we go, how does Ibo take these curbs, avoids the apex. You don't want to touch those curves, they can spin you out a little bit. Ibo a bit hesitant on the traction, straightening his car out. But we've already got Darius spun out on the exit of turn 2. Ibo meanwhile is flooring it through turn 3 here, through Curva Grande. I'm not going to say all the names because I'm not pretentious, like David Croft saying all the Italian names. Here we go, now I think Ibo's gone straight on at turn 4. Is that invalidated his lap? Let's have a look. No, it's not. He survives. Ibo's on 14th. Darius Scream and last week's feature race winner, B Morgan, or sprint race winner rather, have all retired so far. I'm sure we're going to get some corner cuts as well. Chill is one of those. Ben JS is another. Nolan's just invalidated well, and there goes Ibo into the wall, and he's round. Not what Ibo needed. Let's jump to Nathan instead. Currently on pole at the end of the second sector, coming through the Ascaris chicane. Now this will be so precarious, particularly that inside curve there. You don't want to hit it too much, otherwise it will spin you out. Have we got any more invalidations? We've got Heated's invalidated, Verstappen's invalidated, Chill's invalidated, Nolan's invalidated already, so there's not going to be too many valid laps to speak of here. Less than 10, I think, half the field are going to get around this lap without cutting the corner. It shouldn't be that hard, gentlemen. Here we go, Nathan with a short dash to the line. He's got Cortez just behind him, Campbell as well. We've got Car Mentalist has now invalidated at Parabolica somehow. Sort yourself out. It is just going to be the 9 drivers that set valid laps. No one ended up spinning. He wasn't invalid, but it's Nathan on pole position. And then we'll check back in to see how we're going to start for the sprint. But you'd think the wet weather would make it easy to avoid invalidation, but apparently not. Nathan on pole by half a second from Cortez. Then Campbell, Larkin, Ariel Mark, Ariel Giron, Luco 5HD, Jordan, Nolan and Car Mentalist. Car Mentalist invalidating right at the end there, craftily intention to be, or otherwise getting himself pole position for the sprint. So it'll be a Car Mentalist and Nolan front row, and then heated Verstappen, Ben JS, Chill, Ibo, Tope, Darian, Scream, and Morgan, all invalidating or retiring, and that will be extremely costly for Verstappen, the only of our championship contenders not to make it into the top 10, and it doubly compounds his woes because he'll be starting P12 in both races. He will have good sight of Nathan, who will be starting 10th in the sprint, so he can get in amongst the battle in there, but for the feature, it's going to be a long, hard race for the Dutchman. We have got a nice dry race, though, for the sprint. No mandatory stop, of course. They can go all the way to the end on one set of tyres. Generally the harder tyre, but we have seen sometimes this game that the soft option can be viable for the sprint. And indeed, I think we have got a mix here. Let's have a look. I think Nolan saw there on from the sidewalls on the soft tyre. No, he wasn't. It was my mind playing tricks on me. But we have got B. Morgan here at the back, bringing it up on the soft tyre, so we'll keep an eye on his charge through the field. Clearly feeling racy today. Not particularly a favourite track of mine, this one, I have to say. Just stop-start, chicanes everywhere. Only 3 real corners, the 2 Lesmos and the Parabolica. The rest of those corners are either Curva Grande, which isn't really a corner at all, and the rest are tied up in chicanes with very high sausage curbs. You see the little orange sausage curb there. Don't want to be riding over that, otherwise it will throw you up into the air. We've got a big gap here. I think Ariel Mark is backing the field up quite considerably here through the middle part of the lap. We've got some side-by-side action on in the background. That is Cortez and Nathan. And it's no surprise at all to see Ariel Nathan involved with some side-by-side action on formation lap or a safety car, because that's exactly what he loves to do. Interesting to see how the two... I've forgotten what car that is. The UNI, the Virtuosis, Mark and Larkin. I'm not sure there's too much love lost between those in LOE history, and they'll be lining up alongside each other both races, of course. Top 10 being reversed, and we've got Car Mentalist just slowing down now, allowing them to catch up, and it's Nathan actually. He's going very slowly through Ascari, but hopefully they should all bunch up by the time we get to the start-finish line, and indeed they're going to. I'm not a betting man, I don't make predictions, so I've got, and we've got a nice little 4 wide there coming towards Parabolica in the background, not something you necessarily need to see. A little overtaking manoeuvre there, as Ben JS being passed around the outside by one of HWA's, I think that was, from the Earl Carley sponsorship. I'm not a betting man, I don't make predictions, but I am going to say Car Mentalist will win this race. If he can avoid some penalties, and he doesn't clobber those curbs, he will be absolutely fine. Last driver's just coming into position now, and then we'll be underway for the sprint. It's going to be Car Mentalist on pole from Nolan. How brave does Nolan fancy being into turn 1 here? We've got the 5 red lights at Monza for the sprint. They're out and we're underway. Looks like Nolan didn't get the best of starts. Jordan got a cracking one there, though, trying to look through the middle. Nolan's lagging away, bouncing up and down, porpoising all the way down to turn 1, but he's caught in the lead. It wasn't a bad start at all. He covers across Car Mentalist, who I'm sure isn't too confident on where his REL teammate is. And in fact, Nolan's forced out wide there on exit turn 2. No, he's not. He's just lagging away. Car Mentalist leads from Nolan, from Jordan, from Mark has gained a couple of places. Luke and Girona nearly side by side through Curva Grande. And let's see if there's any collisions in the background. I think everybody got through the first couple of corners unscathed. There's Mark up the inside of Jordan. That's what I was talking about, flying over the curbs. And he's got Jordan some wing damage as well. There was a car off in the background. We've got another one. That is Ibo, I think, going straight on at the second chicane. And there goes Luke around the outside of Jordan. Larkin's going to try and follow through as well, but not on this occasion. Jordan just holding on the place, but he is without half of his front wing. We'll see what he elects to do now, as Jerome's going to try and make another place. Mark briefly up into P3, gained 3 places on this first lap, but there goes Jerome round the outside of Ascari. Fabulous move from him in the Trident, I believe that is. I know nothing about these cars. Oh, and Jordan has lost it on the exit of Ascari, and he wipes clean into the side of I'll be honest, I have no idea who that was. I think Ben JS is missing half of front wing as well. No, he's not, but we've got heated up the inside of Nathan. Nathan is missing front wing. It might have been Nathan that was clobbered there by Ariel Jordan. He's going to have to let the Charoos of Chill go. I'm just going to guess what these cars are at this point because I've got no idea. Here we go, we've got some cracking action here. It's B Morgan from the back of the grid on those soft tyres. He's powered past MLE Toby's now going up the inside of QVR Verstappen towards turn 1. They're 3 wide towards the apex. Here goes B Morgan, nicely done up the inside there into P11. And Verstappen, if he's not careful, will have Tope and Dari on his backside before too long. Girone's fallen some way back after that opening blows of the first lap, and again another one clobbering the curb. That's going to leave him very vulnerable to Luco 5HD is coming through. Larkin's going to try have another look, but once again he has to play second fiddle and wait his opportunity. Jerome with a better line through the first Lesmo. I think he's just about going to hang on through the second Lesmo. Is he? He does indeed. He claws that back with the high line, and he's now left Luke vulnerable to Larkin. Larkin playing for scraps here in amongst this little battle that we've got going on. They're going to be side by side into the Ascari chicane. As Larkin got the confidence and bravery to go around the outside, he gets squeezed a little bit by Luke. He can just about hang on that curve. He has to let the Carling go, but then Luke goes a little bit deep. Larkin tucks underneath him. It's going to be a straight drag towards Parabolic here, and Ariel Mark, after gaining 3 places, losing 3 places, now looking to get back in the action and gain another 2 here. Larkin goes around the outside. Can Mark make it a double victory for the UNI guys in the last corner? He absolutely can, and now he's going to look and try and pick off his teammate. Carmen sets cycle up front, is now cleared. Nolan by 1.2 seconds. DRS is enabled. Here comes Mark. He gained 3 places, lost 3 places. Now he's going to make it 2 places gained back. This is fantastic action in the midfield. Not too much happening up front as Mark gets a little tap there from Ben JS, who's trying to follow him through on Luco 5HD. And Luco 5 was in P4, looking for P3. Is now struggling to hang on to P6. And it is very much Linus all the way through here. Ben looking around the outside of Code Grande. Not going to happen for him there, but we'll see towards the De La Rogier chicane now. Ben JS got on the grass a little bit. He car just squirmed under braking, wanted to give way. Cortez is having a look. There's something to happen in this as well, and something I have neglected to mention. Rocco, of course, not racing tonight. All of our championship candidates, Campbell had to make an early stop as well, outside of the points. It's not something you see too often. And Cortez had a big slide through there, and then Verstappen follows him in a similar way. Just hit that inside curve at Lesmo 2. Was collected by another car that might have been heated, possibly. I'm not too sure, but yeah, we saw Cortez have a big moment at Lesmo 2. Just took too much curve. Verstappen did the exact same thing. We've now got a VSC, and then he was just collected by another car, T-boned. And that was good night Vienna. He's lost his front wheel and he's out of the race. So championship contenders right now 16th, 17th and 18th, and Rocco is absent. So we're going to see some nice variation in the point scorers today, because I don't Nathan is talented in an F2 car in this game, but I don't think he's talented enough. He can pull back 50 odd seconds in 8 laps. And we've got Larkin and Mark are really close together as Tope gets a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Dari's in as well. Both of the HWAs, I think that is. Now, we are still under VSC, but Mark very close to the back of his teammate here. Aidan Carmentalis looks like he's very much just checked out up front. 2 seconds he leads. That will close up a little bit when VSC comes in. Mark is hounding Larkin through Code Grande here, letting him know, very visibly so, that he is hungry for a position. And we've got DRS enabled. We're back under green flag conditions. Larkin leads the battle for P4 away through the De La Rogier chicane, but we've got DRS in effect now. Is Mark going to have a go into the Ascari chicane? It all depends on how good Larkin's exit is. Here, Lesmo 1, and then secondly, Lesmo 2. Nathan passes Darius is coming out of the pits. And Mark with half a second of the back of Larkin. He's not going to be close enough at all towards Ascari. He's not getting, even with DRS, down the straight. In fact, Luke is getting more on Mark than Mark is on Larkin, but Mark can set himself up for a move towards turn 1, I'm sure. He's hooked up Ascari nicely there. He can tuck into his teammate slipstream all the way down towards Parabolica. That gap stays steady at just short of 4/10 of a second. Let's get the track back up because we've got a yellow flag. That is B. Morgan has lost it on the exit off Ascari. He's not DNF though, he's still in the race. He can still safely recover ahead of all those guys who have pitted. Mark's dropped back to the thick end of 6/10 of a second behind Larkin. Further up ahead, we've got a move, I think, about to happen between Girone and Nolan towards turn 1. Here we go. Who's going to be brave on the brakes out of these, Ariel, former Ariel driver? I think it's going to be Nolan. He has to take that inside curve, but that's going to get really upset him on traction. Indeed it does. He's so slow off turn 2. Girone takes the place, but now Nolan can tuck into the slipstream and look to fight back towards Ascari. Larkin did, in the end, was quite comfortably ahead of Mark. Again, it's Luke who's looking much more interested. Mark covers the inside line and then darts back to the right, just again to the braking zone. Borderline of acceptable there from Mark. He did move a couple of times. We've got all this claims Larkin's hands, because Mark is having to defend from Luke. It's just causing him to drop back as Nathan sets fastest laps off the race. We've got quite the field spread with all of these pitters, more pit stops than you'd expect from your typical F2 race. So I think Mark must be running higher downforce than everyone else, because look at the overspeed. Even with Mark having DRS, Luke is comfortably faster, but Mark just parks his car in the middle of the track. Expertly done from the Ariel driver, and he lives to fight another day against the Carlin of Jan de Ruvela, the Carlin of Luke O'Fallon, but then runs very wide on the exit of the Ascari, but does allow him to go that a bit more speed. Up front, you may have seen Carl Menkless has picked up a 3-second penalty, and look at that in the background as well. Heated, Cortez all over the back of Ben JS. There's so much dicing going on. You'd think the DRS would just neutralise everything, but not at all the case. Mark still clinging for dear life to the back of his teammate, but here we go with Luke 05 HD. He's just got so much more speed with the setup that he's running. Must be running different setups, and he's Ben JS can have a look here as well at either of them. No, he's not. Mark tucks in behind, covers the inside line, but in fact Ben JS caught napping there, because here comes Cortez. He just sent a late one up the inside of 1, had the outside line for 2, which allows him to straighten the car nice and early, get the power down a little bit early, and they're side by side through Curva Grande. It's not going to be a Grande move, or it is a Grande move, sorry, because Cortez is through, but is Ben JS going to throw this back up the inside into turn 4? Not likely, not on this occasion. Ben JS far too sensible for that one. He backs out. It's P8 for the Brit, P7 for the Portuguese man, and Ariel Mark continues to struggle. He must have got some damage or something, or is his setup just not working? Penalty, but Nolan, I think I missed that. Not too sure. Girone is catching Carl Menkless at a rate of knots up front, so I think Girone is very much in line to win this sprint race with all of our championship contenders out of the running. And you have to say it's a matter of time, I think, before Mark falls himself find himself victim to Ben JS. Look how much more speed and grip Ben JS has through Ascari, pulling out side by side before you can get anywhere near the parabolic. He's ahead, and he's going to have much more confidence into the braking zone, I'm sure, as well, because with the tighter line, Mark won't want to be fighting that. Well, actually, he's Ariel Mark, so he may well do. We all remember Imola in ISRL. Other leagues are available, and here comes Luke 05 HD on the back of Larkin now. Because, well, in fact, this train's got up to Nolan. Nolan really struggling for some pace, and that DRS is saved Larkin's bacon from Luke, because otherwise that was a dead certain move. Luke looks really quick in the sprint race here. As Nolan gets out of the way, he must have damage or some distraction. Something's happened to him for him to jump out everyone's way like that, but that has left Larkin very exposed to the assaults of Luke 05 HD in the Carlin. This is a fascinating battle. We're sticking with it all the way through this race because nothing's really happening anywhere else. Luke pulls out to have a little look. Nolan retires on track, possibly in the pause menu. That comes the safety car. That will incur the wrath of Jordan, I'm sure, but I think we have dodged one. Indeed, he was in the pause menu because his car has just moved down, shuttled down the track a little bit there. But here we go, down towards Ascari. It's Larkin defending from Luke 05 HD and from Cortez as well. Luke pulls out to the inside. He's going to get that move done. Is Cortez going to try the same late in the day? No, he's not. Larkin tucking behind. Luke has to go a little deep into Ascari, and Larkin's having to get out of the throttle mid-corner to avoid hitting the back of him. Mark goes very deep at the second part of Ascari again, and here we go. Is Larkin going to have a look towards Luke on the inside? He's just nabbed DRS, and in fact, oh, Larkin, you don't want to be doing that. He just stuck his car up the inside of Luke in an ill-advised position, I would say. Very short braking zone. You don't want to be going into the inside of Parabolica there alongside another car, because the track swoops across in front of you and cost Larkin dearly. I think he was the victim of his own overspeed there that he had coming down straight. Cortez has passed Luke into turn 1. That has a massive half-spin tank snapper. He caught well in the middle of turns 1 and 2. But these two have now firmly broken away. In all of that, Girone took the lead from Carl Menkless. We missed it, but it was academic with Car Mentalist's penalty. We'll see if the Brit can fight back at all. But it's also let these guys get away, Cortez and Luke, from Mark, from Ben JS, who's now leading a train of his own. And look at Ben JS hitting that curb there, riding it massively, thrown up into the air. Has to defend really tightly there into Lesmo 1, takes such a tight line. That's going to give Chill a massive incentive to try and get past into Lesmo 2. Ben sensibly parked his car in the middle of the track, but it looks like Chill got a better line through the second corner, took a later apex, carried more speed there. And now here we go, can Chill get a move done on Ben JS into Ascari? I think Chill is just going to back out of this one, buy his time, and get something done into turn 1, but you can see that Ben's not the happiest Easter bunny. Easter coming up. I'm such a good commentator. Towards through Ascari there, and in fact Heated has just been lurking at the back through all of this battling, not really getting too involved. He's just watching everyone else fall by the wayside. We've got Darry, Parson, Jordan in the background, but this is where our attention is focused in the battle for P6. It's Ben JS versus QVR Chill versus Heated. Let's ride the ball with Heated, because he's got the overspeed on both of these drivers. Chill pulls out past Ben JS. Is Heated going to send it? I don't think he can, because Chill's in his way in the braking zone. Chill goes a little bit deep. Ben JS has to go deeper, and Heated can just take that straighter line on the exit, the high line through turn 2. But he concedes. I wonder if he just had a little moment on traction, didn't quite get the power down perfectly in his excitedness, and has to keep watch for another moment. Ben JS, oh, that was cracking stuff from Heated. That absolutely wasn't. He'll say, why always me? Well, that was a fabulous dummy and dive on Ben JS, but he neglected to pay attention to the fact there was another car there, and Chill was well within his rights just to come across and take the corner as he did, and Heated gets a spin for his troubles. He's down to P10. Larkin promoted back into 9th place, and he's now joined back onto the back of his train. This time it's that Scream and Larkin now chasing Ben JS. This is just a revolving door battle that we've got going on here that Ben JS is involved in. It's different cars each lap. He goes deep there at Ascari, picks up a penalty. Let's go back to the front, because I think we've got a chance now to see the lead swap hands, at least on track again. And Carmentis about half a second behind Jerome. Jerome sweeps right and then left just to break the toe a little bit. Carmentis is going to close up nicely, but there's nothing doing. He's too far back. Of course, there's no setup differences here, or there's very unlikely to be. I'm sure everyone is running preset 5, apart from Ariel Mark, who is doing nicely in P5 now. And there goes Ben and the Scream side by side into turn 1 and 2. Larkin's going to try and pick up the scraps from this, and indeed he nabs P8 on traction from the Scream, and now he's got a tremendous slipstream on Ben JS. He's going to pull out to the outside of the Curva Grande. Has he going to have to tuck back in the slipstream, or has he got the confidence on the brakes to go deep into the Dele Rocher chicane? He's got the inside line. He sweeps across. He manages to pick the apex nicely as well. He's a little compromised on the exit. He hit that orange bump. Didn't catapult him into the air though, like it did for Ben JS a couple of laps ago. And Larkin recovers to P7 from his earlier dramas at Parabolica. But now he's going to find himself very vulnerable to Ben JS. And when Ben JS can play this right, he just sits behind Larkin until the pit straight. That'll be our last big DRS zone for the race. So Ben JS has got a gimme here of an overtake if he doesn't mess up Ascari and Parabolica. He doesn't need to challenge. He knows that straight's really too short for an overtake if you get a good exit at Lesmo too. But he goes very deep there again through Ascari. A lot of drivers struggling with understeer through the last part of Ascari. We've got a car stopped at turn 2. That is IRT Darry. But we're on to the last lap now, and here comes Car Mentalist on Ariel Giron. Closer again in the last lap, but just not close enough, I'm afraid, for Car Mentalist. All he can do is just stare at the back of Giron's car. Don't know what team it is. Penalty for Heated. Let's go back to the Ben JS Larkin battle. Larkin must have got a much better exit at Parabolica, because Ben JS nowhere to be seen coming into the braking zone. He is missing that front right end plate, as you can see. So I think a lot of these drivers are running compromised downforce solutions, shall we say. And after all that squabbling in the middle of the field, the battle's really sorting themselves out in the end, and we're down to, well, quite a field spread. This is our main battle for points. It's Ben JS versus that Scream, and is that Scream going to send it into turn 4? No, he's not, but he's got one more shot towards